I am trying so hard not to laugh right now, but you have to tell me what is going on with you today.
Oh, I know. I know.
You look like you haven't slept in a week. Those dark circles under your eyes are, like, aggressively dark right now.
Okay, laugh all you want. I am fully aware I look like an absolute zombie today, but it is entirely my own fault.
What happened? Like, did you just not sleep at all?
I completely went down a rabbit hole last night. I was up until like 3 in the morning.
Doing what? Please tell me you were at least watching a good movie or something.
I wish. No, I was lying in bed in the dark, just spiraling into this endless feed of market crash videos.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You know those ones where the guy is pointing at a giant red downward arrow and he's just yelling about the end of the global economy?
Oh, absolutely. The thumbnails are always so dramatic.
Exactly. I watched like 20 of them in a row. And now I'm just absolutely terrified about my retirement portfolio.
You watched 20 of them.
I literally almost logged into my brokerage account at 2 a.m. to sell everything I own. I was so panicked.
Yep. Oh my gosh, you are a disaster. But actually, your midnight panic attack proves exactly what we are jumping into today. Welcome back to Brickonomics. I'm Sarah. Today we're talking about The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, the book that proves our brains are actually our wallet's worst enemies.
And honestly, reading the book this week is the only reason I didn't actually hit the sell button at 3 in the morning.
Thank goodness for that.
Right. Because the whole core premise of the book just kind of slaps you in the face. It's this idea that doing well with money has like almost nothing to do with how smart you are.
Right.
And it has absolutely everything to do with how you behave.
Which is wild, right? Because we are always taught, from the time we are little kids, that finance is this incredibly complex math problem.
Oh, totally.
Like if you just memorize the spreadsheets and the formulas, you win the game.
Exactly. But then the book talks about this guy, Ronald Reed. Have you heard his story before?
Just from reading the book this week, but his life story is completely insane.
It really is. So Ronald Reed was a janitor. He worked as a gas station attendant and a janitor for like his entire life.
Right, just a regular working class guy.
Yeah, he didn't have some fancy education. He was making a huge salary. But when he died in 2014, he left behind $8 million in savings.
$8 million.
$8 million.
Because he didn't win the lottery or inherit it either, which is the crazy part to me.
No, he just lived below his means. He saved consistently. He bought boring blue chip stocks. And he literally just let compounding do its thing for decades.
Wow.
And the book contrasts him with this other guy, Richard Fuscone. And this guy was a Harvard-educated, wildly successful Merrill Lynch executive.
So basically the exact opposite of a janitor.
Exactly. Fuscone had everything. He had the massive mansion, the crazy high salary, the genius-level financial IQ.
Okay, so what happened to him?
He went completely bankrupt after the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
Because he took on massive, reckless debt to fund his extravagant lifestyle.
That is just wow.
Yeah, it completely flips the script on what it means to be good with money.
It really does. It shows that financial success isn't a hard science. It's a soft skill. It's entirely about managing your own psychology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I realized I don't need a Harvard degree to be okay. I just need to stop behaving like a panicked squirrel at 3 a.m.
A panicked squirrel is definitely the vibe you're giving off today, I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
But if you're listening to this right now and you've ever felt intimidated by Wall Street jargon or complicated math, this should be incredibly empowering.
Oh, absolutely. It levels the playing field.
But that actually brings me right back to your doom scrolling last night.
Oh boy, here we go.
Why were you so captivated by those guys yelling about the market crashing? Like, you shouldn't be watching that stuff, but you just couldn't look away.
Yeah, and the book completely calls me out on this, by the way. It talks about this concept called the seduction of pessimism.
Ooh, the seduction of pessimism. That sounds like a terrible, overly strong fragrance you'd buy at a mall kiosk.
It really does. But it's this psychological glitch we all have. The book leans on Daniel Kahneman, the famous evolutionary psychologist.
Oh, I've heard of him. He wrote Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yes, exactly. So he coined this term, loss aversion.
Loss aversion. Okay, break that down for us. What does that actually mean?
So loss aversion is the proven psychological principle that the pain of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing.
Okay, I think I get that.
Like, if you find a $100 bill on the sidewalk, you're pretty happy, right?
Yeah, I'd be thrilled.
But if you lose a $100 bill from your wallet, you are absolutely devastated. It ruins your entire day.
Oh, totally. I would obsess over that lost $100 for a week. I'd be retracing my steps, checking my pocket.
Exactly. But how does that connect to the guy yelling on your screen about the economy collapsing?
Yeah, what's the link there?
Well, think about human evolution. Let's go all the way back to when we were cavemen walking through the savannah.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
If you hear a rustle in the bushes, you basically have two ways to look at it. The optimist says, oh, maybe it's a delicious berry bush. Let's go check.
And the pessimist?
The pessimist says, that's a tiger, and it's going to eat me. Run.
Right. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. Because the optimist who is wrong gets eaten. Game over. His genes do not get passed down.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
But the pessimist who is wrong, he just runs away, feels a little silly for running from the wind, but he lives to see another day.
So being pessimistic kept us alive.
Yes. Listening to pessimists is literally an evolutionary survival trait. We are biologically wired to treat bad news as more urgent than good news.
Wow. So when someone is yelling on a screen about massive government debt or runaway inflation or the housing market collapsing,
our brains treat it exactly like the tiger in the bushes.
that is fascinating. It triggers our absolute deepest survival instincts.
Exactly. And on top of that, pessimism just sounds smarter. Like if I come to you and say, hey, the world is going to end next week, you lean in.
Yeah, I'd be like, what do you know that I don't know?
Right. You think I have some secret inside information or have done deep research. But if I tell you, hey, things are generally getting better, global poverty is shrinking, green energy is getting cheaper.
You just kind of shrug and think, oh, he's just being naive. Or that you're trying to sell me something.
Exactly. Because progress is so incredibly slow.
Right.
It's like progress never makes the evening news.
That is so true. You never see a breaking news headline that says, global life expectancy increased by 2 weeks today.
Right. Progress takes decades. It compounds quietly in the background. But tragedies and setbacks, those happen overnight.
Like natural disasters or a sudden market crash.
Yes. Pearl Harbor, 9/11, a bank failing. They are sudden, they are dramatic, and they make for a really compelling story.
So true.
And I realized, I was treating some guy yelling about the economy like a prophet just because my caveman brain is wired to look out for threats.
But wait, aren't those crash videos actually right sometimes? Setbacks do happen overnight, so shouldn't we pay attention?
That is a very fair point.
Like, if the market actually is gonna drop 20% tomorrow, I would really, really like to know about it beforehand.
And that's the completely natural reaction.
Yeah.
You want to avoid the pain. And to be fair to you, yes, those crashes absolutely do happen.
Right, they aren't making it up entirely.
Exactly. The pessimists aren't always wrong about the event itself. Markets crash all the time. But the book offers this completely different way to look at those drops.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's a concept called paying the price.
Okay, let's unpack this. What do you mean by paying the price?
So imagine you want a really nice, brand new luxury watch, a Rolex or something.
Okay, I'd love a Rolex.
You walk into the store and you see it sitting there in the glass case. You basically have two choices. Option one, you take out your credit card and you pay the ridiculous price tag.
Right.
Option two, you just grab the watch, smash the glass, sprint out the door, and hope you don't get tackled by mall security.
I have been doing some cardio lately, but I think I just pay for it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you accept that a luxury good comes with a fee. You have to pay the price to get the reward.
That makes sense.
But for some reason, when it comes to investing, people think they can just steal the watch.
Oh, interesting.
They want the high returns, they want the wealth and the financial independence, but they do not want to pay the fee. And in the stock market, the fee isn't dollars.
What is it?
It's volatility.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you there.
Sure.
Because a fee at a store is guaranteed, it's printed right there on a little tag. You know exactly what it costs before you buy it.
Right.
But volatility is completely unpredictable. How can I agree to pay a price when I don't know if the price is going to be a 10% dip or an 80% total collapse?
That is such a great point. And the truth is, the uncertainty is the fee.
The uncertainty itself.
Yes. Think about it. If the stock market guaranteed an exact, smooth 10% return every single year with absolutely no drops, everyone on Earth would put all their money in it.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And that would drive the price up until the returns just disappeared entirely.
Okay.
The only reason stocks pay out higher returns than a safe bank account is because you have to stomach the terrifying uncertainty.
So the fee is the stomach ache.
Oh, I see. So the stomach ache is literally the cost of admission.
Yes. The higher the returns you want, the higher the volatility fee you have to pay.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
The book gives this wild example about Netflix. If you are listening to this, just think about Netflix for a second.
Okay.
If you had just seen the writing on the wall 10 years ago and put a huge chunk of your net worth into Netflix, you would be incredibly wealthy today.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody wishes they bought Netflix back then.
But could you have actually paid the price to get those returns? Because back in 2011, Netflix tried to split its DVD and streaming businesses. Do you remember Quickster?
Oh my gosh, yes. Quickster. That was an absolute disaster.
It was. They lost a ton of customers, the internet was making fun of them constantly, and its stock price dropped by roughly 80% from its peak.
80%.
Yes. That is nauseating.
Just imagine that feeling. Imagine logging into your retirement account and seeing that 80% of your life savings is just gone.
I would be physically ill.
Right. Imagine having to sit across the dinner table from your partner and explain that the kids' college fund is basically wiped out because you went all in on the company that mails DVDs in red envelopes.
Oh, man. Most people would have panicked, sold at the absolute bottom, and just locked in their losses.
I definitely would have. The stress would just be unbearable.
And even if you aren't doing something risky like buying a single tech stock, even if you just bought a super boring, broad, safe S&P 500 index fund in 1980,
Okay.
since then you would have still had to sit through a combined total of 13 years where your portfolio was down 20% from its high.
13 years.
13 years of looking at your account and being in the red.
Wow. I realized I treat a market dip like a speeding fine, but the book says it's just the fee for the ride.
That is exactly it. It's admission to the theme park. You
Yeah.
don't get the thrill of the roller coaster without waiting in the miserable, sweaty line.
That is such a good way to look at it.
Speaking of miserable, you want to hear a joke?
Oh, no. Usually when you ask that, it's terrible. But fine, go ahead. I'm bracing myself.
Okay, why did the stock market break up with the economy?
I don't know. Why?
Because it had too many issues.
Wow. Are you kidding me? That is the worst thing I have ever heard. That doesn't even make sense.
Come on, that was a little bit funny.
No, that was awful. Is that honestly what you were giggling about to yourself at 3 a.m. while you were panicking in your pajamas?
Hey, humor is a coping mechanism for my market crash anxiety, okay? Cut me some slack.
Clearly. You were probably like, oh my God, my life savings is gone. But wait, I have a great dad joke.
Okay, fair enough. But seriously, bringing it back to the volatility fee.
Right, let's get back on track.
If the secret to wealth is really just paying the fee, holding on through the dips, and just sitting on your hands, why do so many incredibly smart people do absolutely crazy things with their money? Like, why is it so hard to just do nothing?
Well, the book has a great chapter on this too. And it starts with this profound idea that crazy is in the eye of the beholder.
Crazy is in the eye of the beholder. Okay.
What looks completely insane to you or me might make perfect logical sense to someone else, because we are all looking at the world through totally different lenses.
Like what kind of lenses?
So let's take lottery tickets.
Yeah.
This genuinely blew my mind when I read it. The lowest income households in the US spend roughly $400 a year on lottery tickets.
Wait, really? $400?
Yeah.
But aren't those the exact same households where statistically like a third of them can't even come up with $400 for a sudden medical emergency?
Exactly. So to someone who is financially stable, that looks absolutely crazy.
Right, you're sitting there looking at the math thinking, why are you blowing your emergency fund on scratch-offs? The odds of winning are basically zero.
But the book says you have to look at it from their socioeconomic perspective.
Yeah.
They're living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
They don't have a clear path to a promotion. They can't afford to invest in the stock market. They can't afford a nice vacation or a new car.
Right. Their options are super limited.
To them, that lottery ticket isn't a financial investment. It's the only way they can buy into the dream that you and I already get to live.
Oh, wow. That is incredibly humbling.
Isn't it?
So they aren't buying a financial asset. They're literally just buying hope.
Yes. From their lens, sitting in their reality, it's a completely rational purchase. It buys them a moment of dreaming.
That completely changes how I view that.
And this concept of different lenses applies to investing too. We see someone doing something crazy in the market, but we forget we are all playing totally different games.
What do you mean by different games?
Like if I try to copy the investment portfolio of a billionaire.
Which people do all the time. You see it everywhere online.
Yeah.
People track what hedge funds or billionaires are buying and try to mimic it perfectly.
Right, but it's a terrible idea. Because a billionaire's goal is staying rich. They are focused entirely on wealth preservation.
Oh, I see.
My goal is getting rich. We have totally different risk profiles, different timelines, different goals.
That makes so much sense. I realize this is why I shouldn't just copy a billionaire's portfolio. I'm trying to grow my wealth, and they're just trying to build a moat around there so they don't lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like trying to play defense when you haven't even scored any points yet.
Yes, you're playing a completely different game.
But the hardest part of acknowledging that we are playing different games is dealing with the people playing the game right next to us.
Okay, where are we going with this?
This is where the book dives into what I think is the single most dangerous trap in all of personal finance: the ladder of envy.
The ladder of envy. Okay, tell me about that.
So capitalism is really, really good at two things. It is incredible at generating wealth, and it is incredible at generating envy.
Oh, for sure.
It's this endless comparison trap where the goalpost just keeps moving further away. The book gives this brilliant progression. Imagine a guy named Bill.
Okay, hi, Bill.
Bill is a highly specialized doctor, making, say, $500,000 a year. By almost any standard on Earth, Bill is rich. He has nice cars, takes exotic vacations, feels great about himself.
I mean, I would feel great about myself, too, if I made $500,000 a year. I'd be absolutely thrilled.
Right. Until Bill buys a vacation home in the Hamptons, and he finds out his next-door neighbor is Stan.
Uh-oh. Who's...
Stan is the CEO of a public company, and Stan makes $10 million a year. Suddenly, Bill looks at his $500,000, and he feels poor.
That is so depressing. He's in the top 1% and he feels inadequate.
His success looks like nothing compared to Stan's $10 million. But wait, it gets worse.
How does it get worse?
You'd think Stan, the CEO making $10 million, would be perfectly satisfied. But Stan is childhood friends with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan is worth $2 billion.
Oh my gosh.
So Stan is standing there with his $10 million, feeling completely inadequate next to his buddy Michael.
Does it ever end?
Nope. Because Michael Jordan occasionally goes to celebrity parties where he bumps into Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos is worth $200 billion.
That is insane.
Even a billionaire can feel poor if he compares himself to a mega billionaire. There is always a bigger fish.
That is genuinely terrifying, because if Michael Jordan can feel inadequate about money, what hope do the rest of us have?
Exactly. And this envy causes people to do unimaginably foolish things.
Like what?
People leverage their portfolios to the absolute teeth, taking on massive debt just to buy the bigger house so they can move up to that next pyramid level.
Just to keep up appearances.
Yes. They use insider information and end up going to federal prison. They ruin their marriages because they are never home, just endlessly chasing a number to beat their neighbor.
Wow.
I read that chapter, and I had this horrible moment of clarity. I realized I was only upset about my savings because I saw my cousin's new car on Instagram.
Oh, wow. So your late-night panic wasn't even really about the market crashing or the economy. It was triggered by your cousin's car.
Yeah. I saw the post, I felt behind, and suddenly my brain was actively looking for reasons to panic and fix it.
That is wild.
My whole 3 a.m. doom-scrolling spiral was literally just envy wearing a really good disguise.
But, okay, let me challenge this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it actually possible to stop feeling envy when you're scrolling social media? Isn't that just human nature?
It is, yeah.
Like, if we are wired to look out for tigers in the bushes to survive, aren't we also wired to see where we rank in the tribe?
It is human nature,
Yeah.
which is why it is so incredibly difficult to overcome. And here is where it gets really dangerous.
Okay.
Because of that envy, because we want to beat our neighbor or catch up to our cousin, we try to take shortcuts. We try to exert control over a system we don't actually control.
Right. We want a quick fix.
We think, if I can just predict what the stock market will do next week, I can get rich faster.
Yeah.
But that illusion of control leads us straight into a psychological trap.
Because you can't predict it.
Because the reality is the future is driven by things you absolutely cannot predict.
What do you mean? Like, we can't predict what the market will do.
We can't predict the major events that actually move the needle. The book talks about black swans, a term coined by Nassim Taleb.
Okay, I've heard that phrase before, black swans.
These are rare events that are completely unpredictable. They carry an extreme world-changing impact, and yet human beings always try to explain them after the fact.
Oh, like what kind of events?
Think about the Great Depression, or World War II, or the 2008 financial crisis,
Yeah.
or COVID.
Right. Think about December of 2019. Nobody listening to this was building an investment portfolio based on a global respiratory pandemic shutting down the entire world for a year.
Exactly. It wasn't on anyone's radar. It was a true black swan.
It just came out of nowhere.
And yet, Human nature fools us with something called hindsight bias.
Hindsight bias. Okay, what's that?
Hindsight bias is when an unpredictable event happens, and immediately afterward, our brains look back and say, oh, obviously that was going to happen. The signs were all there.
Oh, totally. People love saying, I knew it all along.
Right. Our brains hate chaos, so we invent a neat little narrative after the fact to make the world feel safe and predictable again.
That makes a lot of sense.
And because we trick ourselves into thinking we could have predicted the last crisis, we tune into the news, we listen to macro projections, and we try to time the market to avoid the next crisis.
Which brings us right back to the guys yelling on the screen.
Right. But trying to jump in and out of the market to avoid the pain is mathematically devastating.
Is it?
There is this one statistic in the book that just completely floored me.
Hit me. Let's hear it.
If you invested in an S&P 500 index fund 20 years ago and you just left it alone, your return would be about 291%.
Okay, pretty solid.
But if you got scared and you tried to time the market and you happened to miss just the 4 best performing days in that entire 20-year period,
Just 4 days.
your return drops from 291% to 164%.
Wait. Let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah.
Missing just 4 individual days over 20 years cuts your entire return by almost half.
Just 4 days out of roughly 5,000 trading days.
But wait, explain how that actually works mechanically. Why do just 4 days matter so much?
Because historically, the stock market's biggest single-day gains almost always occur within days of its biggest crashes.
Oh, really?
When the market violently drops, everyone panics and sells. But then, the market historically corrects itself with these massive, explosive upward swings.
I see.
If you sell during a crash because you were scared, and you wait on the sidelines for the dust to settle, you mathematically lock yourself out of the violent recovery.
So if you sell the drop, you miss the pop.
Exactly. You miss those 4 vital days, and your wealth is crippled.
That is staggering. It really proves that trying to outsmart human nature or predict macroeconomics is just a losing battle. You are literally fighting math.
Which is why the author argues that your energy is so much better spent on mental and financial preparation.
Right. Stop trying to play fortune teller.
Don't try to predict the unpredictable. Instead, have a solid emergency fund. Keep your debt low.
Just the basics.
Assume that huge, unpredictable disasters will happen, and make sure your financial life is built sturdily enough to simply weather the storm, rather than trying to be the genius who dodges every single raindrop.
I love that. It all comes back around to the idea that the only way to win the psychological money game is to refuse to play the endless comparison game.
Absolutely.
You just have to figure out what works for your own life, pay the volatility fee without complaining when the roller coaster drops, and ignore the guy yelling on your screen at 3 a.m.
And, maybe most importantly, stay off Instagram when your cousin buys a new car.
Honestly, that might be the most important takeaway of all.
I think so too.
This has been such a massive perspective shift. It really makes you realize that true wealth isn't about the biggest number in a bank account.
No, it's really not.
It's about taking control of your own time and your own psychology.
I couldn't agree more.
What is your enough number? At what point would you start chasing more and just start living? Or do you think enough is just a myth for people who have given up?